So before we begin this, I just want to confirm something. You two have no idea what this is about, right?
Not a clue.
Nope. That gives me extreme anxiety.
So I have a question before we start this. This is just a conversation, and I want your real perspective. So you got to promise me that you answer these questions truthfully. So taking into consideration that we're friends and the context of what this is about, you have to promise me you're going to give me a real answer.
Okay.
Okay?
Fair enough.
Okay. So, have you two spent any money in the game?
No. Not a lick.
Not a dime.
Not a
How
dime.
about you?
When soft launch was going on, I spent like $45 on a 4-star X-Men outfit for Storm.
Okay.
And that was it.
Yeah. So you're basically
Yeah.
free to play. You're free to play.
I'm completely
You're basically
free to play.
free to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I've spent, and I haven't spent since.
Okay. Now, in the context, you're really casual in the amount of FaceTime that you give the game.
Yeah.
You probably give the game some hours per day, correct? Is that fair to assume?
Absolutely.
So, that being said, we're gonna start out the tone of this video. Off the hip, are whales bad people?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this is something I've wanted to talk about.
What a loaded
for
question.
A while. It is kind of loaded.
It is.
I understand that there's some nuances to how you might answer that. So the reason why this is a topic is because the two places where we have the most social interactions from this game from people are, not counting Discord because that's an isolated group, but where you're talking about the community is in-game in YouTube comments.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the two things. Is it fair to say that 90% of the toxicity about this game in general is somehow circles back to whaling, either directly or it's made about that? The topic is somehow made into that by any means necessary, like 90%. Is that fair?
That's fair. Yeah.
I
agree with that.
I think so. Hear me out. I think because you are one of the whales, so let's say
that's why it's important for me to answer these like truthfully.
Let's say you buy a new car, right? You buy a Kia Soul.
Okay.
How many Kia Souls on the road are you going to see now?
All of them.
Tons of them.
All of them.
Right, yeah.
More than normal. So I think in the perspective of 90% being what people bitch about is whales, I almost feel like I would dial it back to like 75. It is a lot. It is the majority.
It's the majority of
but I don't feel comfortable saying that it's 90% because I still feel like people still bitch about like the mechanics of the game not working right. Characters not getting released.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel it's closer to
I feel like those are
75.
more I feel like those are more isolated, but people complain about other things.
Yes.
But
the majority, though, I agree.
It's somehow
is somehow linked to whaling.
Yeah, and even if it can be a topic that has nothing to do with whaling, people will make it about whaling. It's something that people are passionately angry about.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes me want to talk about this is that fair, unfair? Is that... Okay, so when I ask people, there was a conversation being had in World Chat earlier, and most of it drives... Now, in all fairness, we've played other pay-to-win games, like we've all played Marvel Strike. Well, you didn't play Marvel Strike. You played Marvel Strike Force.
Yeah.
Also a pay-to-win game. It's another mobile game, but the toxicity was nowhere. The Twitch community here is really good as well.
Yeah.
Twitch has always been pretty great. There's like minority of like toxicity, but YouTube, like minimal.
Yeah.
And in the game, none. Now we didn't have world chat set to default. The game sets alliance chat to default. Right. I assume there's a prevalent amount of toxicity in there if you were to ever go there and pay attention to it. But the consensus from everyone that I talk to in the game on a daily basis is they've never seen anything like this in terms of the amount of how big the toxic part of this community is. Like it's very obvious.
Yes,
it's like it's impossible to ignore.
Yeah,
and it all has to do with whaling. And why whaling? It's the dynamic it has because of the strong PvP elements in the game. Absolutely. PvP is like. So that being said, do you feel as though? So when I've asked people that I don't know well, that I felt like, okay, I'm gonna get a real answer here. Like, why do you? Because a lot of these subjects are whales in general.
Yeah.
It's made into like this taboo, awful thing. Like it's framed when using the term whale. They want to. You can tell the way that they talk about it. They want to frame it in a way
where it's derogatory.
Yeah, where it's like you're a bad person for being a whale.
Yeah,
and you can see it in the way that
I see. You see it in world chat all the time.
So on some levels, I feel like it's fair to say that you have been in fact bullied by a whale, and we'll leave names out of it. But you've been bullied by whales, where it felt as though, was the feeling as though when you were in said PvP game mode that you were being bullied?
Yeah, I guess I would say yes, because it's one thing, like especially in like Dark Zone when you're around a main villain that you're trying to tag or get or destroy. But certain people would literally pass me just walking by, just like on my way to a boss or something like that. Turn around and intentionally kill me because they know.
And most likely they've killed you enough at that point already where there's no return on it other than the satisfaction of killing you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I've seen it happen, and I've seen you're frustrated.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, do you believe that is a general thing that like it's all encompassing, that's just how whales are?
No, I don't think so, and that's why I think my answer might be different from Sean's, because the fact that like I'm around a lot of whales in like Dark Zone and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of them. I've played with a lot of them. I've been killed by a lot of them. Most of the ones that I've met are actually quite courteous. I usually get a world chat apology. Sorry, man, didn't mean to hit you or something like that. You know what I mean?
General.
Yeah.
I mean, and you sit, your computer's next to mine, you see me play, like the amount of like player on player interactions I have where I play with other people in a where it's like in a helpful manner, like whether or not it's raids or invasion or whatever it is, where the premise is that throughout the day, even in PvP modes that are group oriented like Omega War, is that I'm actually kind of bombarded by people that want me to help.
Yeah.
And I don't, unless there's a good reason, I don't.
The amount of party requests this guy gets a day, it's ridiculous. But
here's the problem why some of this stuff bugs me is that I do that all day. And last week was the first time I had ever gone undefeated in a season in Dimensional Duel, which is 1-on-1. And primarily, you're once you get up to that level, you're fighting other people that spent money, which it's fair to say.
Yep.
The thing is, though, it's assumed that I'm on an extraordinary end of where that is. But the thing is, of those 106 victories, how many did I celebrate publicly? None. So here's the weird thing. It's like, if I lose, which I understand some of it, it's celebrated, and I assume, now this is an assumption, I'm going to say that, it's an assumption, that, especially if it's from someone in a rival alliance, that a narrative starts like, that you suck, or the first thing that you lean into in my position is that if I ever lose, that's the only reason some of these game modes I play them and try to like maintain a relevant like ranking, is because if I don't, someone will try to frame it as I'm a bad player. Which, in all fairness, because of all the whales that we know, the whales are some of the most try-hard people in the game by far.
Yeah.
But you'll see people say that almost like they're hiding behind that, like by spending money
you have no skill.
that we disregard that they're unskilled.
Yeah.
Which is, I would say, dramatically not true. It's like on the complete other end of the spectrum. A lot of these people that I play with are people that are doing wild amounts of testing themselves. So you guys know, like, there's people that pointed that out about me. Like, I've done
testing, implementing strategies, everything.
I've done ridiculous amounts of testing, gone to extremes of the time that I play the game. However, I have seen things like this. There was some. These are just ones I remember. There's been people that have been upset because they have limited time to play the game, and they haven't spent money or much money, and they believe that, now this is including being a tryhard, this is saying I'm casual and I don't spend money, that they feel like there should be equality. They should be able to get all the same things as the person that plays 20, like if you're a tryhard, like that's to some people where if they're a casual player and they're reflecting, it's the same as the free-to-play to the as it relates to whales, where some casual people feel like that should also be fair, whether or not you spend money or time. At the end of the day, people on the other end, not all of them, but there is a vocal population on this end that wants all of this to be
given to them.
Not given, but like where there's no return. And it's just the weird thing about this is that it's not that kind of game. And I assume people kind of know that when you sign up, when you start playing it. So I did some research. This game, I don't know exactly what this game costs to make, but I just Googled how much does a AAA mobile game cost to make. And on the high end, it said about $80 million typically. But I think that was a general, I believe, and it's probably like an old post. I don't know how old that was. I would assume, taking this game into context for what that number was, that this is probably over 100 mil. That's my assumption. It's an assumption.
I feel like that's a very likely possibility.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Odds are this game, because of probably when the article came out, where we're at now, and then to the degree that this game, you can tell that the love that was put into this game with graphics, the voice actors, the orchestra, the things like that. I'm pretty sure they haven't made $100 million. And so here's the other thing. The game's obviously not free to make. So why are people upset at the people that spend money on a game that would not be around? Like, sometimes it feels like there's an absence of the like if it doesn't fit my narrative, we're going to pretend like that isn't a real thing, like that this game didn't cost over $100 million to make. I'm either free or low spender, and I'm going to haze or frame it in a way where this person that has spent money is evil incarnate, like they're bad, that they do it made up it could be even that this is one of the things that the bullying thing is something I see said all the time. And someone today even said that someone that was a whale messaged them and said a lot of mean things. And I just thought to myself, man, I just feel like, it's not that I don't think that doesn't happen. That some people that spend money are empowered by the power of their character, and then they have some they're unsportsmanlike. They
have this chip on their shoulder.
Being a whale and being a jerk are not mutually exclusive traits.
Right.
Correct.
Exactly.
I guess that's where...
And that's hard for people to decipher.
Yeah.
No, so this is... I'll see this said a lot, where people will say, like in terms of like Omega War, like when the match is done, is that fun for you, Wales? Like there's lots of this where like that's the desire to go in and like bully and crush people under their foot, where at the end of the day it's the killing of other players is the point. It's the end result. It's what you literally have to do. One time someone said that, and they were talking in regards to me, and they were like, and I asked them, I said, what would you have me do? What would you like? Because I do this all the time. You guys have seen in the comments where I will engage with people and want to have a constructive conversation about it. What would you have me do? Would you like me to not try as hard? Like, because ultimately I'm purposely, because I'm kind of like, for me, I'm painting a corner where, like, you know, it shouldn't matter, but it does to me. I don't want people to come up with a different reason to like try to start some. Yeah. So is it, when I asked this question, I said, what would you have me do? And you could tell he wasn't sure how to broach that subject. He was like, I don't know, I'm just frustrated with the matchmaking.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, now we're having a conversation. I could get on board with that. Should there be a way so maybe we can all get along where people with certain power are matching? Now right now we have queue problems already, but let's say you queued against everyone. I mean, I don't know if ping's an issue but there's something done to better matchmaking. Now in all fairness, is the belief here that Netmarble wants you to be frustrated by PvP to inspire spending.
Spending, yeah. Right. I feel like there's a level of...
So maybe that's why they don't want to do that. But who feels that way? Netmarble. Yeah. This isn't a player. Yeah. So some people will say that that this is a lot of the hatred, the angst, the toxicity, that's directed at people that spend, is that's what their intent is to bully, to crush people under. When I disagree. I feel like that's just like they it's like a made up like meaning they're giving it. Like that's what that has to be, and it's general amongst. That's the reasoning behind why all of them do it. And I mean, it could actually be a lot of things. It could be, some people are Aatrox, for instance. He came out. He was one of the most openly like, hey, I'm a Kraken mega whale. Yeah. I've had private conversations with him where he said, I'm a completionist. I have a view of what my completed character looks like, and that's fun for me. I want to finish him. And I can relate to that too. I hate feeling like something's not dialed in the way that I want it to be, and where the character feels the way that I want it to be. And so that inspires me to want to finish it. Like that's the completionist. I don't know, like even when the matchmaking is improved some, when the Omega Wars got more competitive, that was more fun when we had close ones where you're done like, oh my gosh, that was so close.
Like 100 points or something.
Yeah, the ones where you fly around and you just annihilate everybody, is there some fun in that? Yeah, if you can do it, there's some. Yeah, it's fun to. It's the point. Yeah, it's the point to kill people in there. It's not a personal thing, but there's like this pushed narrative that's really what the point is.
Well, that, and you also have the bandwagoners who don't know, have never experienced that themselves because they were late to the game, say they weren't in soft launch, but now they're in Omega Flight and other places. Because I'll give you an example. At Dark Zone, one time it was me and I think one other member of X-Force, and we had some rando guy coming in Zone 2, and we didn't want to kill him. We sent I think he sent one of us sent a friend request to each other for a party, or for a party request, excuse me. And after a while, it was like we were having a narrative while we were in Dark Zone, getting our levels, just hitting trash, and he was basically like, wow, it's nice to be a part of gaining experience with X-Force as opposed to getting killed by them. And he's like, that's very unusual for me. And I'm like, well, not all of us PvP. I said, I'm on skulls all the time. I only drop skulls when somebody is blatantly attacking me.
It's funny that you bring up Dark Zone too. Do you know the irony? We pointed it out last night. During double points in Dark Zone, we went and peeked in all of the channels. They were absent. All of the Care Bear channels, the PvE channels, were absent of any players during the whole...
So the channels that people...
I don't know about the whole time, but when we popped in there, during prime time...
Not a person.
No, there wasn't a soul in any of the... Now, there's 3 channels as opposed to the 2. So, like, it just made me think, it was like, what was the point about it? And it's funny, the people... The Reds, the people that weren't in Alliance, they were all in the PvP channels still, and people still complain about getting killed. It's just, it's a really, which.
But my point was for the bandwagoners thing is that this person, like, after I told them, like, hey, some of us don't straight PvP, we do our own thing. Not everybody is out to kill.
Yeah,
everybody.
You can't police.
Exactly, because you can't, and that's what I said. Because they were like, "Wow, I'm surprised that they let you stay in the Alliance." I said, "No, not one person polices another one in X Force. I can promise you that right now." Yeah. And the words after that resonated with me. They were like, "Oh wow, I wasn't in this game when they got their reputation, so I guess I just didn't know." And that's the bandwagon thing I'm talking about. Yeah. That is the bandwagon.
I heard from a friend of a friend that you guys are jerks.
Yeah, that's
so I believe it.
Again, it's like there's like exclusive like people that do enjoy doing things that like some would consider bullying, and obviously in order to do that they've spent money. So it's not like that doesn't exist. But like there's this really strong intent to make it feel all encompassing. Like that's the reason. That's what everyone does. And somehow the matchmaking is our fault in some way. Yeah. Like in terms of people that spend money. And again, it's
honestly,
like,
if Netmarble was to take matchmaking in the sense of, okay, we're only going to take 10 levels, okay? Omega War, Dark Zone, no matter what mode you go into, you are never, say you're level 30, you are never going to be paired up against anybody past level 40. They will still complain because level 39 people are killing level 30.
And they're still going to project onto other players. It's never going to be a net. Like, that's the thing I don't understand. It's like, I can be the nicest guy on the server, and while I'll never say an ill thing will never come out of my mouth, but like I deal with I like the YouTube, and I get YouTube is just that kind of that place where there's the anonymity of being able to say evil things or hateful stuff.
Same with Reddit.
And you're not standing in front of the person to be held accountable. So there's some people feel empowered by that, and their motivation, like it seems like with this game, by far is anything that has to do with the financial outcomes with having advantages in player versus player modes. That is where most of the angst comes from. But the thing is, it's not. The players aren't in charge of the matchmaking at all. And I argue a lot of people, the people that I know, the min-maxers, the tryhards, and the whales that are all the same people, they prefer competitive gameplay. Yeah. They want to play against the best players. They want to play against other whales. They don't get any excitement out of... now, it's not to say all of them. Yeah. The majority of them feel this way. Yeah. There are definitely people that liked the feeling of the bully aspect, the one-shotting and picking on other players. But, man, it seems as though you can pretty much... Like for me, there's been... Now, you guys have obviously seen it firsthand in the comments where I try to have a constructive conversation about a lot of these comments that you can tell are like way out in left field with the perspective. Like they try to like frame something where it's like somehow it's my doing.
Yeah. Like you made the game that way.
Yeah. Like someone today even told me to stop making content because I'm like influencing the. At the end of the day, it circled back to whaling and the fact we're on this server, and it has nothing to do with the fact that we're on a really low population server where it's the obvious thing to do. It was my fault because I've spent money and I'm on this server and I'm making videos about things like somehow I would be willing to bet nobody over at Netmarble is watching my videos. Now, I don't know that for sure.
Maybe I think we have some Netmarble.
Yeah, maybe. I really that. I even heard that in the contracts that were received to by content creators for this game, that it even said in the paperwork that they sign that we do not want your suggestions.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. Now I don't know whether or not that's true.
And we didn't even contract.
But I'm not even one of those people.
They didn't even send us one.
Pulling out pockets. We don't have anything.
The game, would I like to be able to influence the game to be better and everything? Like the reason why I've personally spent money is that I want to be able to make videos on the, like I always use the example, if you see me making videos and I'm getting blown up in Dark Zone and I'm on the receiving end of being bullied and I can't show you anything, how to complete or finish anything, are you gonna take anything I have to say seriously if I can't show you any of it? Probably not.
Are you even going to watch a video that says, I got killed 80 times in a row?
Instead of, here's a strat to optimize efficiency in Dark Zone, it's instead, here's me picking flowers and leeching off another alliance that's doing it.
Yeah.
Strategy, efficiency, how to run this in here is out the window. Here's, because I get blown up in here and I can't show you any of those things on how to get high scores and how to get the badge. That's not what I want. I did everything from a tryhard state.
In some people's minds, it's a lose-lose situation intended for us. Like they will intentionally make it a lose-lose situation for us.
Yeah,
because of that fact, we can't show, if we don't try hard and make sure that there is some sort of relevancy as a character in the game, we can't show you anything.
Yeah.
But if we don't show you anything, then you don't care.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a really. But there have been people that I've come. I would say 90% of people, as you guys have seen in the comments, like it became a game for me to kind of have a constructive conversation, see if I can get them to admit the fact maybe they
for real. He just throws logic at them and they go. And it's like they're tripping on marbles.
There's one guy though that really bummed me out. This guy's name was Bruce, and I thought we made some common ground, but you can tell all of his motivation was to humble me.
Yeah.
At one point, he admitted to the fact, okay, and I got him to, okay, let's reset and have a conversation. But everything was about, he was like, go make a free-to-play account, go do this, go, all this stuff. I was like, everything segued back to making the conversation about the fact that I had spent money, or and everything was really, really heavily condescending.
Yeah.
And I was just pointing out, it's the fact, okay, we're on YouTube, and I even called him out. I said, I can bet. I mean, the guy did kind of look like an a-hole in real life. I mean, not to judge somebody with the picture, but I'm presuming that you probably don't talk to people like that normally in real life when you're staying face-to-face to them. I said, so let's do this. Either you talk to me privately in Discord and we have a normal conversation about this and come to a conclusion. I'm willing to spend, you've seen, I'm willing to spend my time talking about this, come to a resolution. I like people and coming to that camaraderie and friendship. I think it's a weird, really odd thing to have all these really toxic narratives that are always about, the spend ceilings. Well, some people, I've even seen other content creators, because they know that the free-to-play stuff, is this energy's out there, that they've even kind of thrown shade at other content creators for spending money, because they know that there's a bandwagon there for that.
Yeah.
That let's jump on. Oh yeah, probably spent 10 grand. You don't know that. I personally have never told anybody what I've spent.
No, never even told us.
No, but there's this thing, yeah, right, guys. I'm free to play or whatever. They're
This man tells me everything. Even the stuff I don't want to know. And he still has not told me how much he spent on this game.
Yeah, so it's really stuff like that's no one's business unless it's you're free to play, and I mean, and that's the thing, free to play with a badge of honor, and there's a taboo tied to whaling, and I felt man, I've got a pretty good reason to not to spend, and it's because and I've seen other people that have not. The free-to-play does take a little bit longer to develop, to show the content, which at the end of the day, to each their own. If that's kind of content you want to make,
how it should be.
Do it, man. I will never, but we can't and never will throw shade at anybody, regardless if they spent no money or lots of money. It's you just shouldn't throw shade at people like that. Regardless. Yeah, just do whatever. Why does it matter to you what I spent? Because again, here's the other thing: players don't have anything to do with the spend ceiling.
Yeah.
The ceiling to which you can spend money and get any return on it is also nothing to do with other than they're the person spending, but whose business is that? And you know that when you signed up. So this all comes back to now, how we're going to end this video. What do you think? Is there a resolution to where free-to-play and people that spend money and that they can live... Dogs and cats living together, I guess, is because some people are perfect. I've got tons of amazing free-to-play friends that I play with on a daily basis, and they hold their own. They're fun, and I enjoy having deep conversations about the game, life, people. I love people, but undeniably, most of the angst in this game comes from the perspective of the whaling and how in regards to PvP, which again we don't have any control over.
I have before we
are we just screwed?
Hang on. I've been quiet over here a little bit for this video, so I have just a couple of things that I want to touch on prior to this exact question that you just asked.
Okay.
One, and these are like my little personal opinion truth bombs.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. One. You can't expect a free game to stay free if nobody's willingly putting money into it.
Yeah, let's say everyone wore the badge of honor of being free to play.
Yeah.
The game would be
dead in 10 hours.
Or it'd be really boring with no updates for a very long time.
Yeah.
Right.
We wouldn't be getting constant game modes. We wouldn't be getting promises of magic for months at end.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Go on.
Two, you can't be mad at other players for a company's decision that they don't work at.
Today somebody tried to make it into like where I somehow manipulated them or something to do what I wanted. Like,
I promise Netmarble doesn't care about what we think.
Yeah.
Like us specifically. They don't care.
Yeah, there might be other...
They're making a game for Marvel.
Yeah.
They do not care about three guys in Michigan. Promise.
Fair point.
Three, stop being weird, like, a-holes for no reason. It doesn't matter what people spend. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you in the real world. You know how you fix your problem? You close the game.
And stop getting mad at the game.
And you're done.
No,
you just close the game and you take a minute to cool off, and then all your problems are gone.
Yeah.
Like, stop caring so much about little things that don't actually affect you.
Well, I mean, when it rolls over into people like bringing their angst into real life.
Exactly.
That's where I'm like,
people
this is a video game.
This is a video game.
People will take their anger in a video game and bring it to somebody's house after they've found them.
Yeah, I will tell you, I guarantee you, every single, there are 5 or 6 people on every video, they immediately beeline to downvote it, and it's all people that have like been on the receiving end of some PvP dynamic where they hold angst.
Yeah.
And they want to feel like that's some way stifling you in a way, in some regard.
Yeah, thumbs down.
Shane, I know that you've been frustrated in the game before by the feeling of being bullied. So what, in your perspective, is there anything that can be done about this? Is there some way that we can bridge this?
It's going to be a hard, long road, I think. But I think if we take our frustration more towards the people responsible, like Netmarble, maybe there's a sliver of hope there that they will perfect the matchmaking more or do something to even out the levels a bit to where, Dimensional Duel, I'm not fighting somebody, I'm going to melt in 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm hopeful for that. But as far as like your original question is, are whales bad? That's like asking if all people are.
I mean, yeah, you could ask the same way, or free to play PA bad. You could make an argument for that too.
I've been on one side.
That's where all this angst is probably coming from.
Yeah, I've been on one side of the spectrum where yes, somebody's blatantly killing me just for the lulz. You know what I mean? But on the other side of the spectrum, I have met whales that are nothing but nice and courteous and have constantly helped me out in my gameplay. And not just me being in their alliance, other people. I've seen X-Force members carry all types of people and alliances. So it's not an alliance exclusive thing.
Fairness,
a lot of these people are just there to generally help better their game,
There's there's bad apples in every alliance too, and it doesn't like
people get kicked out of alliances for being a-holes all the time.
Yeah, people so
or not even because it's like it's a never-ending thing. You can't police how everybody plays,
you can't.
And then who are you to argue like, hey, if you go in a PvP zone in PvP, my perspective is that's bad. You're playing the game wrong. Like, how can you like?
Right.
You're gonna have a long career of kicking people out.
Yeah, you can't even argue that you're in a PvP zone where you're getting points for killing players. That's what it does.
Yeah.
There are 3 other channels that are completely empty.
Well, some of the argument used to be that people said, well, they changed it because they don't want you to PvP. Well, no, PvP is still in those channels. They changed it because people were abusing it.
Yeah, and
there was a dynamic where people coming in and killing each other to milk it.
Yeah, and not only that, it was much more toxic before those channels came in.
Those 2 channels are purposely meant to be contested.
Yeah.
They want you to come in and there is fun gameplay that's come out, but I did think it was interesting last night when there was no one in any of the
we just went to peek just to see what the channels were like. And
we killed a couple mobs in there, and there was nobody in any of them. It was really weird.
I think there is actually one solution for this. Netmarble could give players the chance to take their roster from a server and put it on another server and dedicate one server to people who wish to be there because they've spent money.
But that's not
matchmaking can fix it.
Right, but that's not cats and dogs living together though. That's separation.
Yeah.
That's saying that the game as it is right now doesn't work. Like, people aren't going to get along with people they can't compete with. Like, that's just how I see it.
Yeah.
That's
still, I think it's still a matchmaking thing. You can fit if you can't be matched up against people that are like dramatically in another power. In order to make sure that matchmaking isn't stifled, there needs to be a lot more cross-server stuff. So you're queuing against people with a similar power level. The end, we're done. So that way, if you're 600k, you're just fighting 600k people. So another thing that I've seen people complain that they're under level 100 and being matched up against level 100 people.
Why are you in PvP if you haven't finished the game yet?
Okay, and then I've also seen it where people have progressed through the ranks and then got upset because they started getting beat.
Yeah.
Again, you're not entitled to, like, you're going to start running into whales.
Yeah.
You're in the ocean.
The higher the tier you go, the more difficulty
more
it gets.
competitive.
You can't get upset into a pool of sharks and not get bit.
Especially if you're bleeding.
Right.
but so I guess some of my frustration is that I have taken community, love for other players in the game, outside of the game, to what I consider an extreme and compared to the general populace. And compared to peers, you name it, I've tried to take that to, like, that's what I want my brand to be about. However, it does not make you immune to any of this stuff at all, not even close. So that's why I'm like wondering, like, you can walk the walk of someone that is anti-bullying on the other end of the spectrum, wildly helpful, helps everyone, does testing, does everything about what you do is under the it's just all about community, helpful friends, all of that, and it doesn't matter because some people just want to be upset about this stuff and they want to project on people. Is there anything, and I've even gone real far out of my way to be like, hey man, let's just talk about it. Like, what are you upset about? Maybe
have a conversation.
Maybe there's a Reddit post that can get a lot of upvotes where we really highlight that matchmaking out of our control needs to be addressed on a grander scale because people are still up. Now it's still, I mean, like I said,
especially with Reddit, you're still going to get toxic people.
Yeah, there's no workaround for that. Reddit's a terrible place.
Yeah, Reddit's a bad place.
Yeah, I don't go on Reddit.
It's such a bad place. Yeah. Don't go on Reddit.
Okay, well, open to conversation as usual. If you guys have some constructive feedback that you'd like to share, where we can talk about what your perspective is, how we can all be together as a cohesive group and play this game together, and how you feel about this. Let us know in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.